Khamrah, Khamrah Qahwa, and now Khamrah Dukhan. Is it worth it? What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today we're going to be talking about the latest flanker of Khamrah, and this is number 3 in the lineup after the success of the original Khamrah, which in itself smells like a boozy apple pie. It was just trending like crazy on the TikTok, the Instagram. And listen, Unk's still fucking with the TikTok, okay? I'm on there, I'm on Instagram, I'm on all that good stuff. So the first one that came out was Khamrah. And this one I still remember when I first got my hands on it. Not many people were talking about it. I started to just like rave about this shit, and it took off. It took off not just because I was raving about it or talking about it, but because of the fact that people started getting their hands on it a little bit more so. Inspired by a Qissa fragrance, which is a Middle Eastern niche company called Sava, that's now discontinued, but that in itself is all inspired by Angel Share. So yes, it'll remind you of Angel Share, except a couple of differences, because that fragrance in itself has the inclusion of dates, a little bit more of a fruity top to it, and slightly more spicy and less boozy than Angel Share. So what you'll end up with is something that'll remind you of that apple pie vibe, maybe slightly lighter of a DNA, less syrupy rich, and slightly more spicy. That's what you get with the original one. Now we have this Khamrah Dukhan, and a lot of people are wondering whether or not it's redundant or worth the pickup. The differences, the official differences between this and some of the other ones is going to be the inclusion of a pimento spice, along with this orange flower, and then also, as it starts to dry down, the inclusion of tobacco. So indicating a bit of a richer and denser style of scent profile, and that's exactly what it is. What you're gonna end up with is something that still reminds you of its cousin, but how much, really? Off the top, it's gonna remind you a lot of Khamrah. I mean, this is like a spitting image, but you're gonna notice that it's a bit richer in scent profile and spicier, and literally spicier in the sense of like temperature. The only difference that I really get with this is it seems to have also this rich and denser base. Slightly sweeter, a bit more masculine from the inclusion of that tobacco, but the jammy nature, the fruits, it's still got a fruity top to it. Might be slightly enhanced in this one, but at this point, we're now just talking about minor differences and accords. All in all though, nothing brand new, and that's no surprise and shouldn't be because it's a flanker. But is it actually worth the money? Now the thing is that this is affordable, so it's got that going for it, but the other thing is like how many of the same scent profiles do you really need or want in your collection? When Dukhan came out, it kind of gave us a woodier and earthier take on that original Khamrah, and I think it's a fantastic one. Richer, but not nearly as strong, at least in my opinion, in the projection as Khamrah. And now the third release kind of fixes what was wrong with the Qahwa, giving it something a bit richer and stronger with its projection. But at this point, it's like redundancy to the max. It smells like Khamrah times 2 with maybe a little bit of aspects coming from the Qahwa. Now, is that in fact what it is? No. There are those subtle nuances and differences, but in all honesty, just still too freaking close to the original. I would personally say redundancy leads me to not really recommend picking it up if you already have these. There are maybe certain cases where this one would still be worth it if you don't have something like the Qahwa, or if you don't have the original, then sure, pass on the original and grab this one. If today you're looking for the best one and one of the better ones and you're still looking at Khamrah, I would say altogether pass and just get the Dukhan. It's just richer in what it's doing. It's got more character, more body, more depth. But to buy this and buy this, like I said, you could spend that money on grabbing something else. So in that sense, I would personally not recommend it because of redundancy. It absolutely is redundant. Subtle differences, yes, it is richer. It does seem to have a bolder backbone, but still, like I said, this is the third flanker that gets too close. I mean, ideally, especially when we're talking about other flankers like Givenchy, Society Extreme, Society Amre, Society whatever, you have a similar scent profile with those differences and changes, but even those changes, I would personally say, veer off from that original DNA a bit more than something like this. All in all, I'm not mad at it. I like the scent profile, but I just personally wouldn't recommend for it. If it's a little bit more expensive by like 10 bucks, just get the original. If you already have both of these, then honestly, you're not gonna pass on too much. But if you're an absolute avid fan, then maybe it's still worth it. But if you're thinking about picking up the third one, I'd think twice and maybe consider a different scent profile. All in all though, the performance for this will not disappoint. Just like many of these other ones, they last all freaking day. It projects, it's richer than the original one as well, and does kind of take it more so into the masculine territory. It's not as light as the original Khamrah, and it's gonna be because of that inclusion of the tobacco note. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's my honest opinion on the Khamrah Dukhan. For me, it's redundant and a pass. For you, it might be a different case, and consider all the cases that I mentioned earlier, like having one or the other, etc. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think of Dukhan. Is it worth it? Are you one of those people that own all three and still worth it? Are you one of those people who picked up all three and are disappointed? I'm sure other people would like to know, and if you're one of those people, check the comment section. We have a pretty involved community here that keeps it always a buck. Make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.